It's a brand new week on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, mademoiselles.
Madame. Bonjour, madame.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
How was your weekend? How was your weekend?
Single, yeah. My weekend was okay. I'm always amazing and grateful. So, but you know, I was saying here I was going to run home, make food for my husband and everything. So I got a call that my brother-in-law's wife was rushed to the hospital. You know, she's pregnant. So she was having, is it preterm labor? Oh so she's been in the hospital even till now. I had to do the running around, getting food to her. And she's having the labor pains consistently, and the baby's not even up to 7 months.
Oh, yikes.
So they have to monitor her.
General hospital.
No, we can't do general. It's far, one.
That's how you will know.
The stress, two.
I think they go to general.
Mother and child.
Kids in general hospital.
There is a specialist hospital. Go to mother and child.
Mother and child.
Go to mother and child.
I don't think I have anyone around us.
There is. I gave birth to the one in Fakop.
Okay.
That's the closest one to you, and it is a very good hospital. General
Don't go to private.
I've been using private all my life, and I'm good.
Well, according to the people who have done it, said that go to general.
Imagine seeing a consultant like Dr. Aloha. Easily.
God, the level of consultancy you cannot get in
enough
private.
for that woman.
That's the difference. We'll pray for her, but
We'll see what we can do anyway. Yeah.
Don't spoil the market for them, but my prayer is that she gets well.
She gets well.
Yes, that's her. I'm feeling very formal. I don't understand. Like
I'm
I'm
wearing a jacket.
I don't want jacket today.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just looking at myself. I'm like,
You're wearing a jacket.
you're going to resume me.
Elijah Nimat.
Elijah Nima had
How
the
you doing?
weekend. Oh, my
One of
weekend was
these days you go
spent.
to Umrah.
No, Hajj. Hajj is on my mind. And I can still make it for this one if I get international tickets. So this weekend I was discussing with my mentee, and I found out that last Tech exam that she's supposed to have taken by the 1st of July has still not happened.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I went in online and searched what happened. There are lines and lines of serious issues online. NASU in the school and the rector are having issues, and this is affecting holding back students from graduating. When they talk for here now, say the system, now we do ourselves. So there's payments wahala between these associations, and that alone is why NASU will say the exams will not hold in school. And the rector cannot look into it, and there's no other body that can say, okay, let's investigate what is happening within the school and how it affects students within the school. Tomorrow now we'll say I do hands is something workshop.
Anyways.
The students are actually protesting. They've been on
on
Twitter and
everything is
all of that,
online. Everything, I didn't know it was that bad. I was thinking she must have concluded exams, and
Anyway,
I was
how are
trying
you
to
doing,
find
Tope?
out.
Oh yeah, I'm very good. My weekend was very good. I took one of my staff to a new makeup client that I met at your birthday. You know, I went to greet someone at the table, Radisson Blue.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a former client of mine that I did makeup for like 7 years ago when I just had the twins, 7 years ago, and we lost touch. So when I saw her, I said, I've done your makeup before. She said, I was looking at your face too. And that was how she booked me for her sister for a week after. And then I went to, this was an apartment. So I've been to some big houses. This was like a 14th floor apartment in VI.
Wow.
The view. I'm like, people have money in this Lagos.
We have money.
So as in like, and when I came back, I was telling my husband that these people are not relocating. Their kids are studying in the UK. They are paying school fees. They are working here in Nigeria. They're not working. They're not politicians. They are not making money from the government.
Legitimate.
They are making legitimate money. And I'm happy I went with my staff because she was just looking around like she's never seen this. She just came to Lagos for the first time this year. She was looking everywhere and looking at the house, I said,
my sister,
people have money.
thank you for taking me there. Because my husband and I, I've been talking about Canada recently.
Canada station.
My husband sat me down. When he was in, we were talking this Canada thing. Just Auntie, sit down.
Calm down.
Let's talk about this matter. Because the truth is that you cannot be a lizard in Nigeria. I think that you become a caterpillar, what they call it, a crocodile. A lion abroad. A crocodile, yeah, that's the word, a crocodile. You know, no matter where you are, if your children study, if you work hard, because you're all traveling because of the kids, not because of us, because of the children.
Yeah.
But if you ensure you invest in these children here, make them understand that, you see, this world is the world that you must be the best of the best.
Whatever you do.
For you to, whatever you do. If they begin to inculcate that as children, no matter where they go, that abroad will pick them up from where they are.
Yeah.
Because there's a way you can always position your children. So don't always think it's until you travel abroad. Things are great if we go there, fantastic.
Honestly.
But some people are there and they're still hustling.
They're hustling.
Yeah.
I was there
And
now.
And people are here and they are flourishing.
Yeah.
People are here flourishing, people are there hustling.
Don't just carry your bag and go. Be sure
where you're going.
And
We are here. We are here. We're not going.
Anyways, me, I've been goofing recently on some things. I stumbled, and I was actually, I think social media is therapeutic.
Okay.
So I had some, inner thinking over the weekend, and I tried to vent online. And I was like, thank God I made some goof. I did this. And I posted it.
And everybody was not calling me.
Hey, Jehovah. I quickly deleted it.
By the time I got to the place, that's with deleted.
Of course.
But people were asking me, is Mariah okay? Is Mariah okay?
I am
Is
very
Mariah
right.
okay?
Trust
I'm
me.
like,
I was
Mariah
just
is
having my
okay.
internal
Venting,
and I just felt that.
Please go and get a diary. Jennifer has one.
I'm telling you.
Write it in your diary, please. Don't give us alarm work. My phone kept ringing. What's wrong with the friend? Money, which friend? Which one? The one that she's fine. She's very fine. It now seems like at some point I thought, hey, call
my well
this
wishers. I
man.
am very alright.
Thank God
It just
for your
happened.
life.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, it's Monday. Lots of stories to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. We're going to start this morning with the nation. Troops for roads to stop killing, says Oshimbajo. Soyinka headsmen erode government's gains. Tinubu seeks end to security wars. Picture here of Pra, Fashiranti, and other leaders who came to pay their respects to console him, actually, the passing of his daughter. Sanwo-Olu picks Omotosho of the nation and 24 others as commissioner. CBN's lending policy will boost economy, says LCCI. Army redeploys Yusuf Adeosun, bill others. 10 fair dead as police bandits fight and customs parade 24 rice smugglers. Let's talk about the smugglers for a second because I know we have all the other stories in all the papers. Yes, go ahead.
Smugglers. So a combined team of the Navy, the police, and the customs at the weekend in Ilorin, Kwara State, paraded 24 persons involved in rice, allegedly smuggling rice. And they were able to, first of all, they caught about 15 of them, which were the drivers going to deliver 850 bags of 50 kg rice. They got them. With further investigations, they were able to catch the remaining 9. So they've paraded them and more investigations are going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Governor Sanwo-Olu has released 25 names.
Yes,
And as soon as the names are released, everybody started scampering. Who do I know? Who do I know? Hey, everybody just find who do I know in this list? Okay,
Who do I
anyway.
know?
So who do you know in the list? Thank God.
we know Teko Benson.
Toke Benson.
Toke Benson, she's been here.
And former SSG, Tunde
And the
Bello is
former
there.
SSG, two-time commissioner.
Two-time commissioner.
Again, another commissioner.
And I think the editor of The Nation too is there. And somebody pretty close to me, actually. But I had to just send her a message yesterday. Congratulations, Auntie, you know.
And that's the thing, the responsibility.
Well, you see, this person that I can vouch for. I can't vouch. I know her very well. She was the former ED of Corona Trust Council. She was the former principal of Corona Schools. She's somebody who has spent years in the educational sector, and I hope that's what they're giving to her. I hope that's what they're giving to her.
Because they are without
She has done a lot of
portfolio
work
now.
in education, and I know she
The
deserves
names
that
have been
position.
submitted to the
prayer
House of Assembly. They are without portfolio. We don't know what ministries are going to who
Fit the
until
right,
after they
the
are
round
spent.
peg in the round holes.
Very
And most
important.
importantly, can we as Nigerians not burden these people with needs?
Oh, of
Because
course.
let us encourage them to do what they're meant to do. Mariah, you can
Very
speak for yourself that you
important.
won't burden
The
this
Nigerian
woman
thing,
that you know. But many people that will be checking that list now and calling them, Oga, any contracts for me, anything, we're praying for you. Don't pray for them to work. Don't pray and collect money from them.
Thank God I did
And
not collect
one thing,
number
I
of
was
the
telling
other
the
woman.
ladies this morning, I said, listen, one thing I've realized, I think 6 years of this show, is that it's not about who you know sometimes. Yes, you might know all the numbers of all the people. That's not what's going to make you money. If you cannot provide a service, if you cannot do your own work, you cannot become a guru at what you do. Nobody wants your service. Nobody's buying your market. Forget it. So it's not about who you know, who knows your auntie and uncle. Forget that. It's not going to happen. These guys have made the list, and they're hopefully going to work. Move on to Vanguard. Soldiers may have to patrol highways, says Oshibajo. Headsmen have declared war against Southwesters, says Yoruba leaders. Tunji Bello, others make the list. Buhari can't handle our problems, says Soyinka. Appeal court cancels vacation for judges over poll petition. And let's take one more story here. CBN's new lending policy puts 7 banks under pressure. Let's talk about our Vice President Oshibajo for a second when he went to console with Fashiranti.
So in consoling the late, the PA,
the elder
statesman, Afenifere elder. I'm looking for the right word to describe him, who lost his daughter, allegedly shot by headsmen and
by bandits.
By bandits, but that was what they said. It was shot by headsmen. He said that the highway, the expressways would have to be patrolled by military officials, that they'll be sending soldiers to the road. Now, after reading everything, I just felt like, what was the framework? I know it was going to console, but we should, as leaders, we must say things that we can implement, because our vice president is highly respected, and I don't think he has the authority to deploy
at that moment,
soldiers to the main road.
Yes.
So, but the newspaper is carrying that he said soldiers will be deployed to the main road. We've had him say that we would have.
They have to. He was just trying to say, listen, he was just trying to react to the situation.
Let's stop reacting.
Let's just take the story across board, because different accounts. Yeah. So on the Tribune of Vanguard, they're saying that the Yoruba elders are divided because the Oni of Ife is calling that Yoruba people should now take resort to self-help and defend themselves, while the APC national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is saying yes, but let's not politicize this. Headsmen will keep giving this crime an ethnic coloration. Let's deal with the crime as it is. Where are the cartels if you insist that they're headsmen? Where are the cartels? And people have gone at him for that. I've sat on this table all the time saying, when we face a crime as a crime, investigate it and do not let tribalism come into it. The way Nigerians have escaped with crime in the past, by going into a village and wiping it out, is to just peg it an ethnic issue. You say it's one group from the other place, and they won't properly investigate it. They will now start to settle it. Those kind of things that happened in Plateau those days. If it is a crime, investigate it as a crime and deal with it, nip it in the bud immediately. The failure to nip it in the bud is why we are here today.
There was also another account where one of the family members was saying that so far so good, investigations have not been carried on because the car in which they used to perpetrate that act is in their compound at the moment. It's supposed to be in the police custody. So I believe that investigations is not just lip service, but we should do the right things.
Exactly. In addition, I think all the related issues that many leaders do agree that this is one of the reasons why we need state policing. And we don't need the government to be paying lip service to this. They need to actually begin to implement it. And I would like to connect that to the story of the appeal court, that this entire holiday period, they have cancelled it. The same, they would expect the National Assembly to do the same thing, because take this issue of state policing or regional policing, however you want to do it, very seriously, because it's the sure solution to this problem.
Our country is in crisis, and it should be obvious to all leaders. It is not at a time like this that a newly inaugurated National Assembly should be taking vacation. Cancel summer holiday for Nigeria. I think it's important. That's the least we should ask for.
Let's move on to Daily Trust. Soldiers abscond with GOC's millions to arrested as Army begins investigation. Picture here again of the visit to Power Fashion Royalty's home. Reps Committee visits Bauchi over Assembly crisis. Petitions, Justice Bukachua cancels vacation for judges. Assets panel seals Senator Nwabushi's properties.
So the Court of Appeal, the President of the Court of Appeal has, put on hold the vacation of the Court of Appeal. Justice is saying that all election petitions are certainly appeal court bound, and they are time bound as well. They have a time limit, I think 180 days. That's what the Electoral Act says, and they cannot take their break, which is July to October, within this period because it will of course affect the time limit.
Major headline. Yes. So some soldiers allegedly carted away consignment while on escort duty from Kaduna to Sokoto. This consignment, according to the story, contained hundreds of millions. We don't know how much. So they were asked to deliver to a VIP that consignment by another VIP. That is his name is
Major
General Hakim Otiki. So instead of them to deliver that consignment, they decided to run away with the money.
Wow.
Thankfully, 2 of them have been apprehended, so investigations are still ongoing.
Hundreds of millions of naira.
The innocent ones. The ones that escape with the money, they don't go.
Okay, let's move on. There's another story. I actually know the Mrs. Alakorin. I know her very well. She was a company secretary in City Express Bank when I used to work there, and she was a very, very jovial woman. So when I saw the picture, I was really shocked. Very, very fun lady to be around. She would make everybody laugh.
It's even painful because you have a culture against burying your child.
Burying your child, yes.
I just pity what that old man is going through.
I mean, the picture, I think it was Guardian that
it breaks
practically took a picture. Guardian expressed, the picture in Guardian expressed exactly what that man is going through at this moment. Yoruba split over killings of Fashoranti's daughter. We talked about that already. Appeal court orders release of Dasuki from detention. How artificial intelligence robotics will affect jobs of accountants and others. Buhari's inability to solve headsman problems has eroded his achievements, says Wole Soyinka. I think, yes,
robotics, artificial intelligence, I think that Nigeria is not catching up as fast as we can. Our educational sector is lagging behind. People have been saying this, yet we've not seen a robust response from the academic to say, how do we change the kind of accountants we are bringing up? Because they won't have a job very soon. We still produce millions of them.
Anyway, we have to run
Nigeria led a team of young Nigerians abroad on robotics, and they won. They came on Your View, remember? And where are they? And they won, they did. Even recently, there's a Muslim girl that did a robotics that makes folding clothes easy, and it's on my social media page. And as these people are individually developing their children, we can key into this.
Unfortunately, we can't take any more papers, but I wanted to Daily Sun.
Goes out to the Nigerian football team.
No, I mean, I haven't gone to them. They did a very good job. I thought they played very well. They lost.
It doesn't matter.
We played well, Sha. I celebrate Nigerian Super Eagles.
Let's bring in the bros. Bring home the bros.
But I loved their game yesterday. Actually, but unfortunately, no matter how you like the game, they didn't win. Yeah, I know. But I mean, that last goal was just a
own. Yes, bring the bros. Bring the bros.
They did a fantastic job. But me, I celebrate them, Sha.
Bring the bros.
Anyway, let's go on a break. It's Monday.
Bring something. Anything.
Quite a few topics broke the internet. Well, did they break the internet? Some interesting topics over the weekend. We'll discuss some of them. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, report has it that thousands of seized vehicles, estimated to cost about 30 billion naira, are currently wasting away at various warehouses of the Nigeria Customs Service nationwide. According to a report that we read, the Controller General of the NCS, Hamed Ali, has introduced an e-auction platform which recorded little progress actually, due to some glitches being experienced with the digital technology. Now, what are your candid advice to customs on handling this issue? You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so when you guys read this, what came to your mind? Obiajulu, go ahead.
Okay, so about 2 months ago, I was nearly duped because I saw on Facebook that they were having auction for the cars, and I wanted to get a new car. So I went there. I was able to get the numbers of some people who claimed to be custom officers handling those auctions, only for me to read the report that most of them are actually fake, that they are not doing that. They had to close down they were having issues with the e-auction. But I think that even if they have issues with the e-auction, they could still go back to the manual auction, because we have about 30 billion wasting away at the ports at the moment, which is not good. You know that you don't keep cars without using them for a very long time. And we're looking at generating revenue for the government. We're taking a lot of debt as it is. If we can make out 30 billion at least, it will help us go really far. So I think that we shouldn't just wait, because people are coming out to say that the banks have issues with the e-platform and all of that. Let's start with the manual. Let's see how we can dispose of those vehicles at the moment.
Before they say they don't know what we're talking about, it is wrong for a person to bring in cars into this country without paying the duties on the cars. That's not what we're debating. And thankfully, Nigerian Customs cannot go and burn the cars like the other people that burn phone. So, yes, you can seize a car, but you have to have a plan of how to turn it around, how to either make money from it and make sure the money goes into the government for the duties that they didn't pay, or, have what I would call like a trial for the person who has the cars. Because whether the custom like it or not, within the customs service are custom officers who are complicit in this matter we are discussing. They will tell you, don't worry, we will remove this for you, you will remove that for you. And an average Nigerian like to do Oshofri kind of arrangement. So people will then go and say, okay, they believe that they are being assisted, get their cars out, or get their cars impounded at the gates for somebody who has cut short methods. Custom will not investigate the involvement of the officers within. They will just seize that car. That person might have been willing to pay. But But they will just seize that car and keep these cars for long. Now a car, an average car, when you put it down without use, no warming, nothing, it depreciates, it continues to devalue where you leave it. You have to allow it, be tested, put on the road, change the oils and all the other methods that you have to check. And I know the custom know about this. You can't continue to put 30 billion naira inside warehouse and be waiting for an auction to happen.
It just speaks to the inefficiencies. You know, it's not rocket science to put a website together. It's not rocket science to have an e-commerce website. It is very easy, actually. If we are efficient in how we award contracts to people that have competence in that area, we're not using nepotism or to give to people what we feel, let me settle them. If it is done well, if the contracts awarded to someone to build a website for e-auction wasn't done well, why is the person not being held accountable for glitches on the website? Because you should... there is a problem.
It's been done, maybe we don't know about it.
No. So what we have now is that there are cars, G-Wagons, Toyota luxury cars sitting down and we're waiting. The auction started in May. After the glitches, it was shut down. And we have a Controller General, Ahmed Ali, that I feel that you can be mature, but these things shouldn't be complicated. It can be simplified. Okay. We should there's somebody holding this back, and because people profit from doing manual. Yeah. Manual has always profited some individuals. Okay. That's why we did not let we stopped from manual. So we want to go back to the same manual again.
Good morning, are you there? Thanks for calling. Hello, Tochi? I think we lost our call.
Oh. So I wanted to say that when they started with the e-auction, about 806 cars were uploaded and 753 bidders were bidding, ready to pay. So Nigerians are ready to pay because they need these cars. Why don't you just release them? Now, talking about getting people that are efficient to do the work, I have a website where you can pay right now. It just took a young boy, very small boy, to do that website for me. So I don't see the problem why a whole government cannot get a functioning website. We need to look into who is handling what and find ways to prosecute people that are not doing their work.
Just to play the devil's advocate, I know the customs have done a lot, and that Nigerians also compromise, this process of bidding and auctioning for cars. In this country that we see how Nigerians always compromise it. You go on a person's story and you see somebody saying they auction cars with customs for sale. Put a number there, and I would expect with the customs, if their concern is to save the face of that service, to always find out those officers whose pictures they put up and see whether somebody is taking their pages.
I have some numbers.
Because someone once used Moriah for Labi Brown to be defrauding people, on the show. So somebody might, take a picture of the custom officer in his officer uniform, put it up, and then put a phone number and be defrauding Nigerians. So maybe those are the things that have come in, they have hacked into their website, and we have crime happening. And that might have delayed, them.
Frank, are you there for Maja?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, first of all, I'm a free forwarder and a custom license agent.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yes. So I work in...
So what's your experience like?
Yes, I want to quickly say this to the public, that the Nigerian customs will never sell to the public. I mean the auction vehicles. They will never, because, they end up making money from these auctions. They have people that, that they have positions that come to make bids. So when those people come, they are the one that gets the bid eventually.
Wow.
But any other person that comes, any other Nigerian that comes, no matter how much you bid, you will never get those vehicles. So we have tried it. All these vehicles, they are there in Tinkan, they are there in all the terminals, even in other parts of Nigeria. They don't sell to people, except those people that they know are their people. They buy the vehicle for them, and then they sell. So I'm putting this to the Controller General, Ahmed Ali. He should do something about it. I know he's a man of integrity.
All right. Thank you very much.
That's your own experience.
Thank you, Franco. This is the insincerity of government. So you impound the person's car just for the benefit of it, and then sell it within yourselves to your own benefit. We are deceiving ourselves. If you continue the method, your officers, of course, will get wiser than you. Like the case.
Well, this is why we're asking. They brought in Ahmed Ali actually brought in this auction as a way to curb corruption. But you know they say corruption will fight back, but we mustn't allow it. So whatever glitches they have, they should sort it out because we can't have 30 billion.
Try to invite someone from customs to help us out because this is one side. This is based on the reports we read, and we definitely need to get their own side of the story. We brought in the customs man at some point, so we're going to invite him again at some point to come and shed more light on how these auctions are actually conducted and if Nigerians truly have a chance in getting cars from this process. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, other topics are here to be discussed. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently, the General Overseer of Omega Fire Ministries International, Apostle John Suleiman, expressed his dissatisfaction over the new Nigerian passport with the headsman inscribed on it. According to him, it's shameful that a certain extraction now represents a nation with 6 geopolitical zones. Everything is now very clear. Now, we're not discussing this, we're just sharing thoughts or knowledge on this because we actually went out to look for passports. And my own brother actually picked up his passport just last week. And I called him to get the passport copies, the papers, the slips. And I saw it, and I didn't, the only one page that has headsman. A few others too sent messages. I mean, I told them, send your passports to me. And right next to the headsman page was the Bini sculptor. And then you have, so I'm thinking, is it about intentionally trying to aggravate the polity?
Exactly. It is terrible to speak out of ignorance. It's when you don't have information, just keep quiet. Especially when you have influence and clout. And like it or not, this Apostle Suleiman has a huge following. People that will believe him like he's the Bible.
So that's
and then you now use that platform, that same platform to spread hate, to spread information.
That's pointed.
Yes. And that's a Hausa
village, every area.
That's the headsman page. Next to that is also that's Zuma.
That's for FCT.
That's Olumoro.
That's Zuma. That's FCT. Okay.
Yeah.
So every geopolitical zone was represented. And like it or not, the point is, why would you come on Twitter, which was what he did, and post a comment like that without verifying what you're saying and inciting people? The comment already went viral. People started coming back to say that, no, it's not new. It's always been
people
there.
Like my mom's age, my mom's friends, and they come, Mariah, because they're scared, because these people just take everything hook, line, and sinker. So these are like, a woman 70-something-year-old woman called me, and she was really, really frantic. They said that our passport is not headsman. Where are you? And I'm thinking, Madam, take it easy.
We are a plural society. And I think that passport pages was just trying to depict our diversity. Like we should celebrate every part of us, every one of us, every culture that we have. We should celebrate it. We shouldn't say because we have issues with the killer headsmen. That's a particular group of people who are masquerading as headsmen to commit these offenses. So we shouldn't say because of that we won't have anything to do with them. We have the Hausas represented in the passport. We have the Yorubas. We have the Igbos. All the cultures are represented in the passport.
Let me take this call from Olabi. Olabi, are you there?
Hello, good morning, Mariah.
Morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, about the previous topic, I'm an importer myself.
Okay.
And if you are buying car from any part of the country, like you're paying 100%, coming down to Nigeria is just like 10%. I don't know why I will buy my car for 100 naira and I won't be willing to pay 10 naira. The issue starts with custom, with the sense that we can't get our evaluation straight. You have to go through their voice, whereby now I have a car at the port at the moment. I have 2018 Highlander. Now I'm paying 3.5 on this car. The amount they are paying on the evaluation is 2.3. Where is the 1 million naira going? They will say they will pay Central, they will pay this, they will pay that, and I'm still going to pay my shipping and terminal. So the issue has to come from the custom first. Because no one will be happy to abandon his property at the port. With amount.
Thank you very much, Olabi. Thank you for bringing it, because we're definitely going to treat this issue. Yes. We have to bring in someone from the customs office to come and explain to us, because we understand that the imports they pay for import for these cars are really steep. And many of them complain comparing it to other countries, just neighboring countries around us. So it's something we're definitely going to deal with. But back to this issue of the passport. So
we recently have certain leaders from certain regions of the country insisting on a division of the country, heightening the polity at every little opportunity that they get. Some time ago, it was about the currencies. I grew up seeing different cultures on the currencies. And the only currency that didn't have a culture portrayed on it was, at the time when I was a child, was the 20 naira, which muri, because it was named, after a president. And then we later had the 100 naira note, which was after late Chief Awolowo. We know quite well that the country was one, and per time, depending on the history or the issues surrounding the country at that time, we do something to commemorate or remember a person.
Exactly.
It is not about one culture or anything.
One tribe, yeah.
We have a crime happening across board. When it was happening on the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway alone, the Southerners were not screaming. When it was happening the Northerners who knew what they had done to abandon their port to be impoverished were now screaming at the time. He kept moving. And instead of nipping a crime in the bud, our security agencies failed us. Yes. That's a fact.
They're relaxed.
That's a fact. And the next thing you hear, you colorate it. There was ongoing in Plateau State now. What's the tribe? Two tribes clashing. And you see videos and pictures surfacing from there. And somebody will say, see the herdsmen, what they are doing. My neighbor was showing me a video on his phone, how they were butchering somebody. And he was insisting these are herdsmen. Even if we wanted to break it down to herdsmen, the person speaking in the video had a very strong Eastern accent. The person stabbing in the video wasn't wearing any form. There was no cartoon, nothing. He was just using a dagger. So
deal with the issue.
Deal with the issue.
No sentiment.
Let me take this call. Hello, are you there?
Investigate this kind of videos.
Yeah, Mariah.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Concerning the auction stuff, customs are the main problem we are facing in this country. They are the problem, and they'll be even tell people that agents are the problem. And meanwhile, they are the problem people are facing.
Okay. Thank you very much. As I said, we have to bring them back. Yes. Are you still there? Hello? I'm so sorry. But we understand customs, according to you, is the problem. And we'll bring them, hopefully a week from today.
We're phone calls from all the agents. Everybody has called us, are people that are involved in the
it's an issue, and we're going to try to deal with it. Now, it's important we talk about this passport matter, because this story went viral, and people started getting scared. And we must remind Nigerians that a headsman is a Nigerian. There are some groups that are armed, and they are bent on terrorizing Nigerians. These ones are different from the local Fulani headsmen. So don't let our law.
There's nothing wrong in criticizing government. You can come from the part of our borders are polarized. Porous. I mean, sorry. And nobody is doing anything. And anybody can come in from another place, come and perpetrate crime here, take the benefits of that crime and get out of the country. You can criticize government for failing to defend our borders, for failing to investigate crime and prosecuting. Because if we had one head, two heads go down for this, maybe it would have been
most importantly. There is strength in our unity, and we must strive to focus on that. We should all work together to point out crime and deal with it, and not make anybody feel victimized or marginalized. So because the headsmen now, the Fulani headsmen are truly feeling victimized, and they are now being colored what they are not.
Okay,
we should work together and deal with crime.
Final call on this. Temitope, are you there?
Yes, good morning. This is Temitope calling from Ikorodu Agric. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Although I've been watching the program for quite a long time now, since the past 5 years which you guys have started.
Thank you.
Right, please, I'm happy I had the opportunity to call in today.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm contributing concerning the herdsmen issue.
Right.
I'm sorry, Nigeria remains one. We are one. But I'm sorry, why would the herdsmen come first on the passport?
Oh, okay, that's another issue.
Yes.
Hang in.
I'm really concerned about that. Why would the herdsmen come first? They shouldn't be first.
Why? What number should they be?
Hello?
What number should they be?
I don't know, but we shouldn't be first. I don't know. That's my own view. I don't know. That's my...
All right, thank you very much, Temitope.
I just think that because we do not trust ourselves, we are very good at suspecting the motive of seeing number one, or even if it's a Yoruba culture that is number one, we'll still complain that, okay, why are these people here? So it's about trust. And I want to plead with Nigerians, and especially those elder statesmen who know that they have a lot of followers. They can say something and people will just carry it. Let us not unduly politicize our system. Let us just try to... Let's pick out people who are committing crimes, try as much as possible to prosecute them, but let's not politicize everything.
Posterity will judge elder statesmen who continue to shout Islamization where it is not, Fulanization where it is not, and leave issues that concern all of us and continue to divide us along ethnic lines. When we continue to fight against it and unite, time will tell who the fake ones are.
Let's wrap up on that. When we come back, this issue of security is a major issue across the board. And part of the recommendations that was made in the Confab report, I think it's 2015 or 2014? 2014, under the Jonathan administration, has some of the resolutions to these issues of true federalism, security, local policing, and the whole works. When we come back, we're going to sit down with somebody who was in that Confab to break down exactly what the recommendations were, and then help Nigerians understand why it's so important for us to implement it. Because I think Oshoba recently was saying that, the former governor of Oshoba State was saying that it's important that the president is going to look into the Confab report and then try to ensure it's implemented. So let's see what exactly is in this report, so that I just understand what the conversation is about getting them to approve it for our development. Let's come back. We'll have our guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So if you could recall, the 2014 Confab that was convened during the administration of former President Jonathan. So last week, he said that most of the problems facing our country today could have been addressed if the 2014 Confab report is implemented. Do you agree with him? Also, the former governor of Ogun State, Chief Oshoba, was saying specifically, actually not the Confab report, he was referring to the report by El Rufai, the recommendations provided by El Rufai should actually be implemented. So everybody's talking about implementation of either the Confab or these recommendations by El Rufai committee. Sir, with us today is the Pro-Chancellor, Federal University, Oye Ekiti, Professor Tunde Samuel. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show. All right, so you were obviously a delegate at the 2014 Confab, and a lot of people have criticized or condemned why this Confab report was never implemented by the Jonathan administration. And he responded saying that it came too late, that there was no time to implement that report. There was too short a time between 2014 and 2015 when he had to leave. In your view, first of all, we want Nigerians to understand what is in this report, number one. And number two, is it truly the way forward to make things better in this country for Nigerians?
First and foremost, I want us to get clearly what the anatomy of the Confab is all about.
Okay.
The Confab was convocated to discuss Nigeria and provide solution to most of its problems. But fundamentally, it was discovered that there was a hidden agenda, which eventually blurred the outcome of the national conference. For instance, the issue of restructuring, to me, is not necessary. And I will tell you why. We are operating a federal system of government. And the basic concept of federalism says there are two pillars upon which you can erect federalism: the melting pot and the salad bowl. The 36 states and 774 local government councils will all melt into one inside the melting pot, to guarantee the indivisibility, indissolubility, and unity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that is unity in diversity.
Okay.
The second pillar is the salad bowl, which says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And that is the major problem. The salad bowl is the problem now. Because the 36 states have dissolved. The 774 local governments have dissolved into one indivisible, indissoluble entity. For unity in diversity, there must be diversity in unity. Diversity in unity is the salad bowl. Every component of the federation has the right to dip its hand into the salad bowl and take its own ration.
Who determines what you get?
Yeah, but you must. That is subject to what you have been able to put inside the bowl.
So that's on the derivation and allocation.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now, because we refused to operate through federalism, that's why I said there's no reason for restructuring.
Because the structure wasn't proper in the first place.
At all. We refused to do the right thing. Rather, we embarked on what I refer to as adulterated federalism.
Sir.
We cannot operate adulterated federalism and have unity and have security because the states are expected to pay taxes into the federal covers.
Yes.
The federal government has no money in this country.
That shouldn't have.
We are missing the point.
So we don't even have a proper federalism, so we can't start restructuring what is improper.
We don't.
So I had the privilege of being on this show before the Confab, and one of the things we were making noise about was that why would you spend so much money putting together a conference that did not have a constitutional backing to implement whatever policy that comes up? It was like a dead on arrival project. We knew before they started that there was nothing you guys would, your team, this powerful 400 and over 400 people come together, put together, will still be subject to the House of Assembly, and they can pick and choose what they wanted. So we just were wasting money. Knowing, that's my understanding of putting together something without putting a legal framework to implement whatever comes up with. What was your own experience that before going in there? Were you expecting or hopeful that this would be a worthy investment of your time? And what do you feel, how do you feel now, years after, knowing that all that you invested in, everybody brought their solutions, nothing has been done about it?
You have captured the mood of most patriots in this country. When I was nominated by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, initially he had this irreversible notion, just the way you have put it. In Yoruba, only recall ti Jericho benjade. On the basis of that, initially I declined, I was not going. And Asiwaju called back and said, Prof, come. You have to go. Give us what happens there. We must have people who are very straightforward that will tell the truth. I have to set aside my earlier decision and proceed to the Confab. The major crucible is the illegality you have raised. Because if something has no legal backing,
foundation,
waste of time
from the onset, what are you people calling everybody to come and discuss now? Interestingly, Nima is a lawyer by training. So my university, Lagos State University, where I was a founding father in 1984. I joined LASU from day one. So it is wastage of the nation's resources.
What would be your response?
Wait, I'll come to you, Nima. We understand that very clearly because a lot of people made this argument during that period that why there was no way, this was really a dead zone. But sir, it's important because now that everybody is clamoring for restructuring, fiscal federalism, and the local policing, Nigerians must understand what these Confab portend for their future. So we need you to help us, give us an insider viewpoint on what could have happened if this Confab report was actually implemented properly, the legal way.
It will put paid to most of our problems if we had convocated, if we have convocated the national conference properly, with appropriate legal backing. Because what we have been sent there to do could be done by a referendum of the whole of Nigeria.
That's outlined.
We cannot be talking, and you know, most politicians are power merchants.
One of the excuses then was that, you know, a referendum would cost us. And the government at the time was scared about it. But now that the former president is calling and saying, this is the solution to Nigeria's problem, and I was out of time. By the end of 2014, when the report was ready, I couldn't have done anything, and the National Assembly was focusing on the politics ahead. So we didn't have time. What would be your response now, knowing that you created something or nothing, and then come around to insist that is the solution? What solution are there, if there is at all, that you...
Do we have a chance at all?
Do we have a chance at all that this government should have done?
No, Mr. President, former president made a political statement by saying that there's no time to implement the decisions of the National Conference, because the preconceived finality of the government in power then was not the outcome of the National Conference. You can imagine some people proposing additional 18 to make 56
Yes,
states.
We are going to go into the details. It's 18 new states.
I was shocked. I was shook.
The rational thinkers and the radicals within the National Conference are teamed up to say no, with about a week or two to the end of the conference. Some people want a state in their backyard. It's so ridiculous.
Okay, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, I would like you to shed more light on this melting pot part you said, because a lot of people still dispute these 776 local governments and certain states, why certain states having certain amounts. So when we come back, we'll discuss it. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Before the break, I was saying, you talked about the melting pot and then the salad bowl. The melting pots, everybody's come together with their various local governments. And recently we had this issue with the issue of resource control, or is even who gets what. I know Lagos State had an issue with the, creating the LCDAs because they were insisting to the federal government at the time that we can't sustain with, I think, 20 plus local governments at the time. So with this Confab report, or this report, how was this supposed to look like? Is it like the money goes from the state and the federal government has no business with the local governments, like where the local government becomes independent? How is it, what's the right, how is it supposed to work? If this Confab report works, how is the melting pot supposed to work, where everybody puts in what you actually require, not what you want?
I think we have to look at from a very different perspective. A lot of panel beating took place in respect of all the topics at the National Conference, because the consensus was that we should be our brother's keeper.
Right.
And that's why we are having what we are having now.
Brother's keeper.
Because if we don't situate issues properly, we're not likely to get the best result. First and foremost, federal government has no power, no right to create local governments.
Okay.
That was why we took the federal government to court when I was in Tinubu's cabinet. And the Supreme Court ruled that it is the responsibility of states to create local governments. But states will now send the local government list for listing, just for listing.
To the National Assembly.
Yeah, to the National Assembly for listing. Not that the federal government should create. And that was why the Supreme Court used the legal jargon, incoherent.
States.
The decision is incomplete.
Yes, until that happens.
Because the federal government has no power to create local governments. So that's point number one. Point number two, the issue of who has the right to do what, when and how, will continue to haunt us because of the concept of be your brother's keeper. And that was why myself and Keyamo generated a lot of brouhaha at the closing session. Because I made it clear that the survival of constitutional democracy in 2015 and beyond, I made that in 2014, will ipso facto depends on two things: electoral sanctity and judicial integrity. And that is what we have been battling with since 2015, and will go on until 2023. So, yes, please.
You would agree with me that we have a lot of good recommendations from that Confab report. And one of them that struck me was the fact that we wanted to create a homemade government that would be like a combination of the presidential system and the parliamentary system that will work for us. You would agree with me that the presidential system of government is too expensive for us to run. So another one also was the fact that the legislatures will not work per time, which means that they could have a job that is paying them, and then they come together to make laws and go back. So you don't have people sitting on Nigeria's resources that is not even enough to handle the economy. So should it matter how the conference came about, whether it has a legal backing or not, or should we look at picking out what will work for us and make the economy change?
You cannot properly situate an appropriate answer to that question if you don't look at the preconceived finality of the organizers of the conference. The federal government had a preconceived finality for the national conference, not for the entire Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Hidden agenda.
Laundering the image of the party in power to return to office. That was the preconceived finality. That's the preconceived finality.
Okay, let me pause you for a second. I have a call holding from the UK. Benga, are you still there? Hello? Holding for a while. Bola, are you still there? Do apologize.
I'm so sorry. I know that you've said that there was a preconceived finality that they wanted to achieve. I also know the fact that there were a lot of people that were displeased about even the process of nominating the people that got into the place. A lot of the event was actually shrouded in conflict on both sides. However, we have spent Nigerians our money on a conference. We have spent the money. The government that put it together has gone. The result is now in a folder, a book, whatever it is, we have that result. Can we not just go through that as opposed to thinking of, oh, the government had a plan or it's hidden? Why can't we just take that resolution, especially concerning how we want to change the government's, the policy, the way we run our government right now, which is extremely expensive. The advice and all of that given, I'm sure nobody would disagree with it except for those that are profiteering from it. So if there are good sides to this that everybody can agree on, can't we just take that same Confab report and push it forward?
Oh, yes, we can. But you and I will not implement.
Who would implement?
Politicians who are money and power merchants.
Problem.
Fortunately.
Politicians.
Recently, we were just discussing the 18 new states proposal by the Confab. And recently, we are faced with the different meanings of restructuring across board. As soon as one region thinks I'm not being well fed, I'm marginalized, I think we should get a restructuring. As soon as one other, we need a restructuring. The other will say, we do not need a restructuring.
We need state policing.
Because you are the one collecting more. How does creating or going back to the regional government what exactly did the Confab consider restructuring before they arrived at these new states, or or proposing change of government, the kind of government we run?
Most of us, particularly the pro-democrats, were totally opposed to restructuring. Restructuring was a child of necessity concocted by a syndicate to address the issue of rationality in the salad bowl distribution.
Right.
Because they've not been telling the world as to why, as to the basis of noise making for restructuring. It is the problem is the salad bowl.
How to share.
Okay, sir, because we have very little time. I want us to go back to this issue of salad bowl.
Yeah.
Because you told us that salad bowl is about based on what you put in.
Yes.
But you also said that the issue is being a brother's keeper. So if you are bringing in lettuce, I'm bringing in carrots, you're bringing in tomatoes, and you're bringing just 2 tomatoes, you're bringing lots of lettuce, I'm bringing just a few carrots. Now, I want to be my brother's keeper. And I said, okay, because you're only bringing in 2 tomatoes, let me give her some of my lettuce. Is that the issue we're having? Because I want Nigerians to really understand this salad bowl concept.
Yes, I have to. The salad bowl concept stipulates that whatever you are able to contribute, because you have surrendered your sovereignty under the melting pot.
Okay.
Whatever you can put into the salad bowl, as of right,
yes,
you have a right to share out of the salad in the bowl of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
But we have already tinkered with the concept by bringing in the concept of being your brother's keeper. Being your brother's keeper is not embedded in the true concept of true federalism.
You must bring something. Your brother must bring something.
So, yeah, it's important that, wait, let me finish. Yeah, go ahead.
He's hit the nail. Let's go back to derivation. So, we have an exclusive list governing mining and resources, and we're giving this power exclusively to the federal. How do I bring what I have? And be sure that, because of the amount I bring, you have clipped my hand, I'm not going to get what I have. I will hide what I have now.
So I can't get anything in the salad bowl.
Do you understand?
Yes. The example you have raised is an abnormality.
Okay.
Under the concept of true federalism, every state is accepted to develop along its own path and
independently.
On what they have. Also,
Yes.
will not be like this if they can control their gold.
You see, if a state has gold, that state should be free.
To mine their gold.
And the one that has crude oil.
And pay royalty.
So do Nigerians see and it's important that our viewer, because there's some educated class that understand, but there's some that do not really have knowledge, and it's important they understand. So what Pa is saying, let me be clear that we are on the same page. All of us have resources.
Yes.
You have things to bring to this salad bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, there's an entity called federal government that's clipped your wings. You can't access your resources. Yes, whatever it is, I'm still having to struggle myself to put something into this bowl. So no matter how you do it, you're still going to put in very little resources. I'll bring in a lot.
You have no control.
But at the end of the day, because we are still being brother's keeper, we still have to share it equally.
And then you're feeling bad.
And I'm feeling
you're
bad.
not getting enough.
So you're saying true federalism means that you must all be able to put into the salad bowl. Yes. And if that's going to happen, everybody's resources must be
managed by them.
Managed by you.
That is what the true federalism says. Each state according to its own resources.
Exactly.
That's why the federal government has no right to tell us our growth path. What the federal government has done is to whip all the 36 states into one growth path.
So what you're saying is we don't need structure, we don't need restructuring because we have not practiced true federalism.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
We practice true federalism and see that it doesn't work.
Yes.
Then we can...
Hey, let me take this call. Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. I just want to contribute to the program.
Go ahead.
To the other section of the program and the panels. Every morning, we call it from Abuja, every morning we tune into the TV, to the radios, we keep talking every day. We like to talk in this country. And nobody is even listening to either to come up with solutions. And now, I just have a solution this morning. And I think the Mr. President, the speakers, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the governors, the speakers of State of Assembly, the Chief Judge of the state, the local government chairman should come together and sit in one room, call the traditional rulers, and just ask a two question that, okay.
Sorry, we lost that.
I was going to say that the constitutional amendment that we later had after, from the last house, the 8th Assembly, address some of these issues, because, we went there, we did not too young to run, we allowed the age to be reduced, we did certain things, but never touched on issue of federalism, whether we should even have a two-house national, we didn't talk about the major issues. Did the constitutional amendment that we later have address some of these issues, or even brought us close to a proper federalism?
Where you have most drivers of the Constitution preoccupied by personal instincts and self-interests. We can call it 10 or 20 meetings of governors or bars and chiefs. What is important, let's get things right. True federalism says every state has autonomy to create local government. Every state should explore all resources, exploit their resources rather, and then pay taxes
to the federal government.
A little. We must get it right first.
So if we should be pushing the National Assembly towards this, I mean, if even the drone implements this confab, at least let's get them to ensure that resource control is properly apportioned. Let me let it come to you.
Of power. So Omobola here says, no doubt that 2014 confab had a lot of robust solutions to many of our quagmires. However, owners of Nigeria are her problems. So the former president wasn't sincere with the confab. It's a ploy to elongate his tenure. Otherwise, he'll have 11 good months to implement the report, but never did. So we all agree that it could have been.
We have to round up, Sam. We have very little time.
Okay.
Yes, Austino says the confab 2014 was the gathering of old people who were planning for the younger generation, so it was a failure ab initio. Fasal Jamaso says restructuring is all political. Nobody is sincere. What brought about the Decree 34 of 1966 Constitution that gave us unitary system of government? Please ask Professor Benoit Bouezi, what changed that we suddenly want restructuring? Andre Sim says, to put Nigeria back as one, we should have what we call binding states like Delta, Plateau, Edo, Taraba, and River States. If you observe, they are not Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba states. We need to enshrine one Nigeria. Yeah. Mr. Allwater says, unfortunately, the level at which the security situation in Nigeria has gotten to, sometime it was Boko Haram. Now, more other people have come up.
Yeah. So, it was mentioned in the report that we have to go, our educational system has to go back to the hands of the mission schools. We know that our educational system has failed. Government took over schools that they cannot handle. We hear reports every day, we analyze reports every day here where the infrastructures are dying, teachers are not being paid, they are not recruiting more teachers. Everything is falling. So what do we do about our educational system? Is there a way to move forward from this hidden agenda and work with what is right for us?
I don't want us to absolutize that education is failing.
Okay.
Because there are certain things being introduced in the last 10, 15 years. Digital, computer, what have you, facilitating educational development. However, I will agree with you that in some areas, the young ones can no longer intellectualize properly. The way you people have been talking now, some of the younger ones coming up cannot properly intellectualize.
What a shame.
So, if you say that, I will agree with you. But there are certain new things too that we did not have the opportunity of doing while we were in school.
Yes.
That have been introduced now. So you must have your gauge.
Sorry to cut you off. We are running out of time, and but I need to ask this final question. Yes. The truth is that the political class generally understands the hidden agendas, whose intention was right or not. The Nigerian people generally don't really care. Their own is a confab was carried out. Are you implementing or not? Why are you not implementing? Because people felt that APC government was not being sincere. Like, listen, there are some parts of this confab that made sense. So if you don't totally agree with it, why can't we pick and choose one or two? The state policing, the resource control issues, the mission schools going back to the owners. Those are things that we can pick out and actually implement. So if we are truly sincere, as APC government has acted as if they've been, if you are truly sincere, can you at least implement those ones that you know that make sense for us?
I would prefer that to be done by the National Assembly.
Okay.
Because the law of semantic empiricism says what cannot be seen must not be said either.
Yes.
So let's take it back
to National Assembly.
So we're expecting them, the National Assembly, to approve for them not to be paid full-time.
Yes.
And for them to be paid part-time.
The new house was...
I said it will shake tables.
Yes.
It got to a point that myself and the former Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State had to send a letter to the Confab Secretariat asking them to stop our salaries. Because Ashiwaju and Fashola did not believe in the payment of salary for us then.
It was supposed to be service.
Yes. We went to the Secretariat. Fortunately, late Justice Kutugi is gone now, the chairman there.
The chairman of the Confab.
But the Secretary declined. They will not take the letter.
Wow.
Fortunately, that's all we can take, sir. Thank you so much. Now, with our conversation, we know where we target we're targeting to National Assembly. Honorable Lawan and Honorable Gbajabia Miller.
Yes.
They are the new captains of the ship, and we'll come to them and find out what part of the Confab report, or even the El-Rufai recommendation, that you're going to implement to the National Assembly. That's going to be our demand going forward. That's all we can take. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.